Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Wednesday, and we're here with Coach Karen Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. We want to give a shout out to my partner, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Carolina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. So sit back and relax because we're getting ready to talk about something that is near and dear to all our hearts, your money. So today we're going to talk about, your monthly income. And so we're going to get some coaching tips from Coach Karen. Now, if you have never done this before, you need to go get a pencil and a piece of paper, or get out your iPad and your pencil and take some notes, because people who are coached by Coach Karen pay well. And the fact that she is willing to share these nuggets with us, hey, the least you can do is pay attention and implement some of these things to make your life, your business life better, your personal life better concerning your money. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Oh, good.
Cecilia's in the house. Cecilia's a super fan. We got to do something for you, Cecilia.
Yeah. Good morning to our live viewers and our replay viewers, and thank you for showing up every Wednesday for us. Appreciate it.
We're talking to the replay gang. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about monthly income.
Yes.
Okay.
And all this month we are talking about planning. So this is in the planning stage. Even if you have done it, this is the time to go back, check and see where you're at, and see if you want to shift it around, multiply by a couple of numbers, and plan for things ahead. All this month we're talking about how we're planning for December, for 2021. That's what all this is about. And we started off the month talking about all about money planning for 2021. And so we talk about how much you need and that sort of stuff. Last week we talked about, last week was the night. We talk about who you are in your business, or what role you play, and what role you plan on playing in the future, and why. And your why could be money to get you going. Don't be afraid for it to be that, because then you start thinking differently about money. If you get up every day and you're thinking that money doesn't matter to you, well, the results will show itself that money doesn't matter to you, which means money don't come your way, which means you're not handling money because you sent out the thought that money doesn't matter to you. And it does matter. I like to listen to a lot of inspirational things. I like to listen to people's biographies and that sort of stuff. And you just hear and understand. Most people tell you when a switch happened, there was something happening big, and it's usually something big that juggled them, and they realize once they're in it, their language was part of the poorness. The language was part of the suffering, the struggle. It was a lot about their language, because you need to get that built in. And if you don't have that built in, nothing much happened. This is why the planning for the year is so great and so important if you want to be prosperous and live your abundant life. The life you're living right now, if you are in abundance, it's the work you had put in a long time ago. So could you imagine if you stop it because now you're in abundance, what's going to happen for the next 5 years? It can start going downhill because now you're doing nothing. This is why you have to continuously continue doing the goodness you're doing for yourself personally and in your business. And if you haven't started yet, start today.
Okay.
Today. Don't wait. I didn't plan. I didn't start. Gather everything today. Spend the next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, gathering, and spend the weekend being intentional. Focus on what you're going to do. And if you need another 2 days, do it. But then for the next week, make sure you're putting it down. And today we're covering monthly, because now you know the role you're playing, you know the role you eventually want to be in, you understand why you want to do this. Now let's plan the monthly, because we plan before the whole year. We understand these parts. Let's talk about the monthly planning. How
Okay.
much money do you want to make per month? Do not be afraid to put this number down. If you put this number down, your works is towards this. Okay. How does your business budget look? What does it look like? Do you have a business budget? And if you don't, get that together. I'll talk about that in a minute. And do you stick to that business budget if you had one before? And if you found sticking to it difficult, then shift things around, but make sure you're doing it. You have YNAB, you have, if you're an Excel person, go into Excel and do it. And if you want to learn Excel, get on YouTube. There's a lot of people show you how to use formulas to make this automatic. Because guys, let me tell you something. All these apps that's out there that does this stuff for you, they take their cue from Excel. When you pay attention to them, well, if you're a money person, you know Excel, right? And if you aren't, you want to go in and really check with Excel, because the most simplest app you'll ever use. I don't care how everybody else say this and that. That's where everything stems from. Even if they never said it, because the cells and the tabs and all those formulas came from there. And then they take it and figure out how to simplify for themselves.
Mm.
And then now they sell the app or do whatever. So if you didn't want to pay for an app or what have you, you have Excel, get in there and do it. If not, if you don't have Word, Excel, and that stuff, because it costs these days per year, get into Google Sheets. And Google Sheets, you can form formulas and do everything in there. Why am I talking about formulas? There's another episode, and I'll have to do that strictly and literally walk through video showing you that. That's different. But you would want to, you want to be able to have this thing happen every month. You have to pay attention. Business is boring stuff. A little bit of boring stuff. Business got a lot of boring things in it, but it's okay. It's okay, because if you think about your job got a lot of boring spots in it, but you go to work and get paid anyhow. We don't want to say this in business, but it's true. There's some boring areas. Okay, so that is my overall speech. Now let me get into the fine details. Let me get into it. How much money do you want to make per month? I
Mm-hmm.
want you to put that number down. When you put that number down, if it's big enough, it's going to scare your pants off. Good. If it's not scaring your pants off, go back and reevaluate. It
Mm-hmm.
can be comfortable, because comfortableness is not going to make you work hard towards it. I want you to be uncomfortable with the amount of money you decide you want to make per month, so that you can raise that bar. I'll give you a little tiny story. I was in my cleaning group, and the woman said the cleaning is going to cost. She has to tell the homeowner it's going to cost $1,145, and she was freaking out. She said, "I can't tell the whole homeowner that's what it's going to cost." Well, the level dirt, we level dirts, right? So you could say the level dirt was a 4 from 10. You could imagine the home need a lot of tender care, which means it's going to take a lot of levels of dirt that she has to break down. The person that called you in knows this. They probably set aside $15 to $2,000 to get the home clean, but they're not going to tell you. But you panicking with $1,145 because you haven't set yourself up in your head that you can ask for that kind of money. Somewhere in your business model, you haven't decided that you could make that kind of money, or if you do, you have to work, oh my God, night and day to make the money. So to tell one person that it's going to cost them over $1,000, you're freaking out, when the job is probably going to cost more than even what you're quoted. I remember going with a friend to quote for him because he wasn't good at it. And I got there and I said, the job is around $2,000 to $2,200. And he says, Karen, I can't ask for that. It's an apartment. I said, okay, what do you want to ask for? And he told me, I said, you won't get the work done. You'd be so mad and so unhappy that you wouldn't do a good job. But he went ahead and he charged less than I told him. And he was sad and he was unhappy. And the people didn't pay him the full money. He didn't listen, because it's a job. You either take it or you don't take it. But it costs a lot of money because the level of dirt, the level of garbage, the level of things that needed to be done. And that's just one example. People who charge for websites, for instance, if you get somebody your website builder, let's get online now. And the person said to you, I want to build my website. If you are not sure, you better go find out, because are you doing the copywriting? Are you doing editing? Are you doing the photographs? They got them, but you got to place them. And are you doing coding? Like, you got to know all these components and actually price them out. So when you tell somebody, I'm going to build your website for $10,000, you better have that list and the costs and the proposal to them. And you don't cringe, because you know you honestly can cost. It can cost that money.
And the question also is, how much of your creativity are they expecting you to use? If they come to you and they have no clue what they want, or what colors they want, or what the objective of the site is, what if they don't know what they're selling? That's a lot of work to pull that out of people. And you need to charge for that.
Yes.
Claudia says, I was going to say more boring than the various tasks of daily life when you were talking about, getting it together.
Yeah. It really is, Claudia. You're on point. It really is. And people don't understand that the person who's building a website also has to go do research. Like, when people coach with me, I have to go research their industry if it's not one that I actually did myself. And I have to find out a lot of things about your competitors, the people you're up against. Those are things for myself so that I can advise you well, so that you can power through and raise your business and get it to where it needs to be. I can't do that if I just came online, Zoom call, talk to you, tell me what it is, I tell you what to do, and go away. That's not how it works. When I leave you and I finish with you for the first or second call, I am doing research to come back and have you on the right path. That takes time.
And see, people, you have to also recognize as a consumer what you're really paying for. You're really paying for knowledge, and you can't always, it doesn't always seem tangible.
Right. Exactly.
But it can save you time and money.
Yes, exactly. So, it takes a lot of time. So you want to know those things. So whatever number you need to put there for the month, understand and put it there. While you're doing that, this is just how life works. While you're doing that, a lot of thought is going to come to you. Have a scrap paper where you're writing these all down. Even if you're fighting against yourself with a monthly number that you put down. Let's say you wanted to make $16,000 a month. You know that if you've never made it, there is a part where you're not going to make it right away, but you'll get yourself eventually there. So you're arguing against yourself, and so you need the pros and the cons. Why I want it, how am I going to get there, why I can't make it, and you argue with yourself, but it's okay. Do it on paper. Get that argument out of your head on a piece of paper so that you can eliminate it. So when you put the number down now, your job is to work towards making that number that you want to make, okay? Be specific. 16,000. I remember when I wrote it down, $16,028, and I forget how many cents. I literally wrote the whole thing down because I calculated. I know what I wanted the year to look like. I know what I had to pay out of that, and I calculated down to the penny, okay? And I wrote that down, so that was my goal. Everything I do was that goal. So when I calculated, the next question is, do you have a business budget? Or does your business have a budget? And if it doesn't, you need to get one pronto. You need to get it because you got fixed expenses, and you have, the ones that could be flexible. And you want to have that in your business. You want to know what you pay for yearly and everything in your business. I advise people, especially when you're now starting out, if you can pay for most things annually, pay for them. There's a discount usually that comes along with it. And, every year on the 15th of March, whatever comes in. Every year on the 3rd of March, this is what comes in. And so every year you're not behind, you're not falling behind, everything is set up there. That allows you that's part of your budget, right? That's part of the money that you have to make so that you can cover everything that you have to do. Figure out how you can do them annually. Okay. If you can't, and some has to be monthly, same thing. Make sure you get a specific date that you're paying X, Y, and Z, and that's listed in your budget. It looks similar to your personal budget, a little different because of more things you might be paying for and more services and what have you. Then in the budget, you want to have a section for the things that you are working towards. So let's say that you're planning for, let's say you're planning to get different lighting, maybe a mic, because now you're working online. Maybe you're trying to get furniture for your office. All those things that you're working towards, you want to also include that in the budget. And then you want to have some kind of a paragraph reminding you how you're going to get there. Because don't leave it up in the air and say, I'll figure it out. You see, this figuring out thing usually leads you down the wrong road. I want you to sit down and find out from yourself how you're going to do it, which it might mean that I got to set aside $200 every month and I'll do it in 6 months. I got to set aside $300 every month. I'll do this in 3 months, and list them according to their importances. And so you get them covered. You don't want the end of the year roll around and you're like, last year on 2021, I was to buy bam bam, but I didn't buy because you didn't set it up right. Because you weren't focusing on getting that money to you so you can do it.
Okay, well, before you go, wait a minute. Claudia has a huge comment here. She says, but that's always my problem. I'm willing to invest in knowledge only to be disappointed in what is offered after committing to the cost of specific programs. Sometimes you are paying for all these programs that promote help and fall short. It's hard with what I do because I can't always get good referrals. Okay.
What Claudia does?
She is a nutritionist. She helps people organize their pantries. She does events. She's a caterer, and she is very good at vegan things. So, Claudia, tell us a little more about what you do, because I know you've done some shifts in what you do. So I don't want to presume that you're still doing what you were doing in 2019. Okay, so while we're waiting for that.
I hear you.
But overall, she's a caterer and a nutritionist. And
But I hear you, because when I first came online, I take a lot of courses that would waste. Some would have wasted time. And some of the people didn't know what they're doing themselves. I could tell. Only because they didn't realize that I went to school and I know business and what have you.
And they just had great marketing.
That's what they were good at. And I wasn't a great online marketer or salesperson at the time, because I just was good in person. I was used to being in person. I can sell you, I can market to you in person. That's where my strength lied. And so I understand. I paid for some good courses that just fell through the cracks because I started reading. I'm like, this always work? Wait, hold on. And so one of the big things I did for myself is start making a list of the things that I truly want to learn and I really want to know. And I want to tell you, YouTube is great and you learn a lot on YouTube, but they're selling something, or they're gonna. So they don't give you everything. That's just a fact. There's no ifs or buts. But you get enough, and you should be taking notes when you're going to go to YouTube so that you can jot down all the things that you want in a specific subject that somebody's talking about. Mm-hmm. Because they either going to have a program to sell you, or they're going to talk about somebody that probably helped them or something. And you can take that list and keep looking at it to find within the marketing that somebody is doing to tell you what they're going to offer. Now, the people who dress up marketing really, really well and make you want to go buy, sometimes that's where they put the energy in the marketing. But the gut to the program is not really there. And because online world, a lot of people believe in getting people in and then going and write the program. Sometimes they're rushing through and they don't write a good program because they're going off of what they think people want because somebody asks a lot about it. But I could ask about something, but I don't really understand what it entails for me to get there. So when I get it from you, it doesn't show up like that. So I'm giving you a case in point. When I write a program, I do opposite to them. I understand that's what they think, but I go against the grain. I write my program because I want somebody to come in and start and finish with results. Start, have results in between, and finish up results. So everything I do, it's toward the goal that I tell the person. So like, for instance, my 4-hour workday program. If I tell you you're coming in there to work for 4 hours a day, that's what I mean. That's what I want to get you to. So everything I teach you, it's going to be very big and broad initially. But what I'm doing is starting you with big hours, and then I'm going to shrink your hours. At least that's what I'm teaching. Shrink your hours to get you to the 4 hour workday. And one thing I realize is if you understand that you have a 4 hour workday, you could take your other 4 hours and do a lot of learning. So the 4 hours you can concentrate on your business, but the other 4 hours where you'll spend learning whatever you need to learn. So if you took my program, like for instance, and you needed to learn Canva, I'm not going to just put you in Canva and say learn Canva. I'm going to teach you how to do it, why you're doing it, the content that need to um, come together with the picture and your content writing and make it blend so that people get what they're doing. If I'm teaching you Pinterest, it's going to be the same thing. Why are you doing Pinterest? Why are you pinning these things? What do you expect to get out of it? Like I'm going to walk you through everything. So it's going to feel plentiful, no question. But my job is to make sure you know it so well so that you can do it in such a manner that it doesn't take you the length of time that it used to take you, so you don't want to do it. This is what life does to you. It feels plentiful, so you don't want to do it anymore and you don't do it. If I don't take time writing this program, going through it myself, I usually have a friend that I'll make her walk herself through the processes. And she comes back and say to me, I find difficulties. It wasn't as fast as you want me to do it. Like, so I go back in and check on it. If I write a program and I didn't do those steps, then you're not getting a good program from me because I didn't spend the time dissecting and pulling out. And it takes time on our part, and some people don't like doing it because they think they're not giving them the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
it's a waste of time.
Waste of time, but it's not waste of time.
No. Now, Claudia says she's a caterer. She says, I help with meal plans, design event decor, and offer cooking training and nutritional training. So I did say it correct. Thank you. Yeah. She says, I kind of like I spent 4 hours when I worked for the Job Corps and 4 hours working on my business while at work. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's sort of like giving yourself an internship.
Mm-hmm. And we need it. We need it because I'll take a pause and talk about this. One of the big things about being in businesses that, I've been doing but never named it and never realized that I was really good at it, is making sure I give myself time to learn. I just always give myself time to learn. My daughter used to laugh at me because I'd read a book, a silly little Harley Quinn book, and she's like, Mom, what do you need pen and paper for? It's Harley Quinn. Just enjoy the book. But I know that the person who wrote that book if they're writing about a specific, if they're focusing a lot about a character in that book, some part of them, or they know somebody intensely or they researched intensely in that specific area. That's why the focus is there. And if it's a businessman and they're talking about him and they're a good developer, there's not all of them, but there's books where there's good character developed in the book. I want to take notes of what the person was doing because, believe it or not, it reflects back on something that I'm going to use later. If I have the instinct to use it, to listen and write, I'm going to use it back later. I'm going to use it as a reference or something. So I know that if I don't get that downtime to just read and relax, if I don't get that quality time to journal, to use my Bible and just be in the presence of the Lord, I am not very productive. I can't be because I have everything that I wanted to get out of me. I'm taking it over to my workstation and I don't want that. So I want to get it out of me so I'm free enough to do the work. Or if the work has to come first, the kind of work that need quietness. I live in a house with 7 people. I need that stillness that I will get up early and I need to focus in on this quiet time just for myself to just center me. And maybe that's the time I'm writing, maybe a chapter in my book, or I'm reading, depending on the day and what I have scheduled for myself. Those parts is so important. Sometimes you run in a business and you might work 2 hours in it when you get it really down set, but you spend another 3 or 4 hours just focusing in on bleeding out the anxiety, the frustration, they like forgiving somebody, for instance. I forgive you, but did I work through the process of the forgiveness? And maybe this thing is causing me to gain weight, eat crazy, and do nonsense. How do I get this toxic part out of me? Like, what is it that this person have done me that, although I say I forgive you, is bothering me so much that it's affecting my eating, my exercise, my work, and my thinking? It does it. This is part of what it does to you, but you might notice it. But if you have an inkling that I don't do this way and this is affecting me, you want to stop and think. Now, if you took that extra time that you've given yourself, you can really work through it.
Mm.
I know I said a mouthful, but
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You said two things, yeah. So when I have this extra time, I use it for research. When I was a trainer, because I knew I would have to give examples of how things worked.
right.
So I would research best practices. Research.
Mhm.
So, guys, when you have this time, Coach Karen is saying, take the time to learn, do your research,
Yeah.
find someone who's already done the research and learn from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we got programs that you've taken, every program that we take, even when it's like the worst of the worst, because I've taken some of those, I go back and I ask myself what I was expecting from it and what did I miss
Oh.
that I didn't get. And sometimes within the rubbish, because I said I've taken some rubbish, I might find one or two points that was still fusible that I didn't notice at the time because the rest wasn't as great as I wanted it
And it
to.
was so distracting because you weren't
Yes.
doing what you were in there
Yes.
for.
Yes.
Well, sometimes what I learned too is how to better evaluate a training program before I pay somebody.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just
It just is. It just is. Yes.
and I've learned to let it go.
Oh, I had
because
to.
it can become a distraction.
Yes.
And it can become a hindrance. It's sort of like when you buy a book
Mm-hmm.
and it turns out not to have the stuff in it you wanted, so then you don't want to buy any more books.
Yeah. But you have to get
You know
past.
in your head that's wrong, right?
Yeah. You have to get past it. You got to get over. My
Yeah.
first Facebook ad, girl that did it, it cost me $3,200 plus Facebook ad money, and I was pissed. I was $7,000 in. I was like, this
Nonsense. Nonsense.
but I had to get over it because I'm in business. I can't just be harping on just her.
And then the other thing too is they're tax deductible.
Mhm.
And that to me, that's the saving grace for my mind. It's like, okay, girl, just take it off your taxes and keep it moving.
And keep it moving. Don't be fretting about it. It's taking up too much space in my head. I can't allow that.
It's a distraction, and distractions will keep you from focusing on what you did learn from
Yes.
other courses, from experience, from doing your own research. Yeah.
True story. And then number three was doing is the simple part. Simple, a little hard, but simple. Do you stick to your business budget? Please stick to your business budget. If you know that in that budget says I want to coach this year, then you're saving for the coach. People are surprised when somebody pays for a coach. You're like, I can't afford that. That person might have been saving to get a coach. So that's why they're doing that right now. If you're saving to get a strategist, then that's what you're saving for. A social media manager, then you're saving for that. That's in your budget too. So it's no wonder and surprise. And you make a list of the things when you come for a coach. When you're looking for a coach, you get a business coach. Understand what you want out of them. Tell them what you want out of using their services. Tell them this is you needing their services. Great. I came for X, Y, and Z. If they want to touch other things to it, it's great. But this is what I want out of it. When I'm finished coaching with you, Coach Karen, I want my business to make more money. I want to feel I want to help you with building up my confidence. I want you to help me with my business structure. Like, come with those things. It can't be, well, I don't know what I want to do. Don't take a coach then. Don't pay money to a coach then. Because she's going to help you, but she can't help you fully if you don't know where you want to be. This is totally your control. You have to know where you want to be. Yeah, she'll help you shift you through, shake you up, make you do things you don't want to do because she knows where it's going to get you. But you ultimately need to know where you want to be. And that's how you get the best out of coaching. Matter of fact, that's how you get the best out of therapy too. You go to the therapist and you're just gonna go. Everybody say go to the therapist. So if I go, I'm gonna be okay. Are you going to the therapist because you want to feel better and do better things? Or are you going there as a cop out so you got a place to go to so you can tell everybody to go to therapy? But you're not doing anything that a therapist gave you or do. I had a friend I had to call her out. I'm like, stop going therapy because you're telling everybody, but you don't, you're still doing the same crap. Like I told her, and she's like, go and do what you say you're going to do. If not,
Do the work.
Yeah, the man gave you work. Go do the work. He's certified. This is his thing. This is what he does. He's a doctor. Yeah. Anyway, we got.
All righty then.
Sorry, guys. Because if you went to the doctor, you come in to complain to me like, what's the point of going to the doctor?
Exactly. He gave you a prescription. You went and got the prescription filled and you set it on the dresser.
Thank you.
And you want to know why you're not feeling better.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I agree. So today we talk about how much money you want to make every month. And this is, guys, remember, it's because you have planned your whole year. You set up your quarterly, how that's going to happen. You're down to your monthly. You know how much money you need to make per month. Then you need to know all the activities you're going to do every week, every day that's going to lead to every month. And remind yourself, don't write this plan and park it. It's like a vision board. Don't get your vision board and then hide it away. Have it in view. View it every day. View your bank account. View your budget. View your vision board, your planning, whatever you have. View them daily so you can be in the spirit of continuously working this goal. If you had a rough week and the things you planned for the week didn't happen, be honest. What upset me? What made it shift? What happened to me emotionally that I couldn't physically do what I say I was going to do? Because then the money's not going to come in because you didn't able to do these things, until you make it automatic, until your business is set up in such a way that it becomes the real business now where if you didn't do, the business will still make this money. That's ultimately when we're in business, by the way. We're doing a thing, we're an entrepreneur, but we are business owners when we don't have to show up for the business to make money. True. That's when you're in business. That's when you're in business. You did not have to show up. And I heard this, right? And when I went to business school and the guy first talked about it, I was like, oh my God. I love it. I love being involved in my business, mind you. But, I have a business where I don't physically have to do. And my goal was that I wanted a business where I didn't have to show up to make money. And then I wanted the ones where I do have to show up. And then I wanted a business where I'm showing up initially, but the continuum will still give me money. And those were my 3 biggies that I spent years working on. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was an overnight thing. It took me years.
Well, Lakeisha got some things to say. She says, hey, how y'all doing? How you doing,
Lakeisha?
She says, some people just want to be miserable.
Oh, for sure.
And if you always think you're right, you can't receive. That's true. So sometimes when we've been hurt, it's hard to go back and, learn something.
Yes.
But I always ask myself when I make major mistakes, okay, Terry, what can you learn from this?
Yes.
Because you don't want to do this again because you're going to keep repeating that mistake until you figure out what the heck you did wrong.
Yes. It serves itself up to you.
Oh, I've seen this one before. Okay, I'm not going to do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I agree.
You run out into the freeway a couple of times. You'll figure out it's not comfortable. You don't like it, and you'll stop running out there.
Yes.
Okay. Unless you just like the idea of becoming roadkill. Okay. Not cute. There'll be no more lessons to be learned, but can we learn lessons before we have a fatality?
Oh, please.
So, Coach, can you recap for us?
Yeah, so today we talk about how much money do you want to make per month? Does your business have a budget? If it doesn't, get one ASAP. If it have one, go and revisit it. See if it's lining up where you want it to be. Make adjustment. You need a fix and a flexible and a plan for within your budget. And do stick to it. Do stick to it. And be reasonable with yourself. If you're going to sign up for 2 big programs for the year, that's the two. Or a couple of small ones, put that in there. Those are the ones for you.
Okay.
And promise yourself that regardless of whatever come up, even if you feel that your business needs to learn it, don't go buy it. And I sell things, but I tell people, how many courses you're in? Don't buy mine. You're not going to do it. Then you're going to claim it didn't work for you. You have time. Did you set aside time to do it? If you don't set aside time, the course that you paid for, you're not going to do it. If you didn't set aside time, it's going to become this extra weight on your shoulder that you didn't want.
Yeah.
Buy the next year. Buy the next year or hire somebody to do it if it's not in your forte. I personally like to know things that I want to hire people for so that I can have the guidelines for myself. That's how I work. Mm-hmm. I accept that with me. Like, I accept that with myself. Karen, that's who you are. You can't be anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Accept who you are.
Yes. Lakeisha says, oh, yes, that's the same test that's coming back around. Let's see what you do this time. Yep. Taking it till you pass.
I did some testing more than once, and I was like, how come you miss it?
You know what I mean? It's like, am I really back here?
How come you miss it?
Mm-hmm. She says, and yes, Coach, that's important too. We must set aside time for the program. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to set aside time to study. It's just like any other school.
It's like any other school. Like any other school. Like one of the things in all the front of my program, I'm going to be right. I start writing it. I'm like, do you have the time? I'm going to have like a setup module section where I'm telling you what to set aside time to do. If you don't have it, it's okay. You don't have to take this program because you don't have the time or you can't find the time. Because we always have the time. We just haven't figured out how to budget the time, how to allocate the time, how to say this is my 2 hours of learning. And even if you see me stare into the ceiling, I am learning. Leave me alone.
Here's the other thing too, Coach. Can we put all the notes in one place?
One place. One place.
And then maybe put stars by the nuggets or fold the page back if that was really significant, because if it's a principle, then it's something that you can review year after year and bring to your remembrance. Oh, am I practicing that? Because, you know, we learn things. And how much did we learn in college that we have not cracked that book since the test? Okay. Are some principles that probably would have served us well over the course of our lifetime.
Yes, you know, either have it in a notebook or I do like, and I keep saying one Tech Friday, they're going to happen next year. I'll come on you guys and just walk you through Trello. I like it. There's ClickUp. There's all those other apps. But I do like Trello because it's spread across the screen and you can say work you're doing, work you're learning. You can name it different things. Oh, Tech Friday, I'll come in and teach a class on Trello. Just
that would be great.
Cards around and just how it's there. So when you open in the morning, you open Trello and you look and see all you got to do. It's a to-do list. It's all that sort of thing. There's so many apps. There's Trello. There's Google Docs. There's note-taking. I like them a lot because it's really one of those things. If you're techie, I paper girl, okay, paper and pen girl. But I've recognized people like to use the computer. So I'm just going and educate myself, and then like I can teach it back.
There you go.
You know, so you could see it spread across the board. It tell you I got a project coming up. The project is due in 90 days, and you can see all the steps in front of you that you get to do, and that's work. But you can turn it around for school. So you're taking a program, you put it up there, my to do, and you go in every day. You see where things are at, and in your face, and you get it done. When that's happening, though. This is the part. You got to turn off Facebook. You got to turn off everything, and you got to focus in. Like if I'm in focus mode, I don't even put on the internet. I'm like in Word, so I'm not even putting on anything. So I'm in there doing all my work, and then I come. It didn't matter what flash on the screen. I don't go in there.
Okay. You heard her. Focus, people.
All right, guys. I kept you long enough.
Okay, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Coach, thank you again. You always have such great information. Guys, you need to put some of these things on the replay so that you can, really get a hold to the principles and the concepts of Coach Karen is trying to convey to us about how to run our businesses better. So with that, I just want to say thank you again, Coach. If you're looking for Coach Karen, you can find her on the web at Coach Karen Fern and the Profits in Daily. Let me see if I can find that banner. I don't know what I was doing this morning.
When you have profits in your business, that's where you make your money.
Here we are. Profits in Daily. So if you're looking for Coach Karen Fern, that's Karen with a C.
Not the Karen we're talking about these days.
Karen with a C for Canada. Profits in Daily. And if you're looking to join BizChicks, we'd love for you to be a part of our community if you haven't already done so. Or you can recommend people tune in. Tell them just text biz to 33777. We'd love to have them be a part. Now, with that, we want to remind you that tomorrow is Thursday. We'll be talking happy, healthy habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And Friday, we'll be talking tech and English for your business. So don't be scared. Come on in, tune in. And remember, sharing is caring. So share this out with everyone you know. Bye-bye.